Ow, man! Welcome to the Frickcast, and welcome to a battle for the ages. Today, Sudsy takes on the Squatch to determine who is the superior deodorant. Now both Dr. Squatch and Sudsy Bear offer all-natural men's deodorants and are very similar in many ways. If you want a more in-depth breakdown of both of these companies' versions, I do have individual guides for each that break down ingredients, scents, and everything else that I'd recommend you check out before or after this. In this video, we're going to be highlighting the differences and figuring out whose stick is thicker. When you look at these side by side, they are very similar. Both come in the same size container. Both of these are also the same price at $13. But what about ingredients? What's the difference here? Well, you could again say these are more similar than different, as they both are aluminum, baking soda, and paraben-free. Two major ingredients used in their stead are arrowroot powder and charcoal. Both are present in Squatch's and Sudsy's deos. However, what is unique to Squatch is the use of probiotics, essentially good bacteria, used to prevent odor-causing bacteria. Most of these are the same: coconut oil, shea butter, jojoba esters, vitamin E oil, etc. However, another difference of note is Squatch's use of the vague, natural fragrance, which we aren't sure exactly what it contains, while Sudsy primarily uses essential oils in theirs to form the scents. Overall, both ingredients lists are solid, but to determine who is actually better, we need to try these boys out. Now, I've been using Squatch deos for years, and Sudsy's for a couple months now, so I think I have a good feel of these. Let's start with the Squatch Sticc. The deo is great for the most part. The one thing I've always noticed is how powerful the scents are. And they are, of course, the legendary Squatch scents. They are very noticeable, almost like a cologne, I would say, and they smell great with a scent for everyone. But more on that later. I found these to work well and last the majority of the day. The issues I've noticed with them are primarily related to the texture of the deo. It varies from deo to deo, but they can be very soft, so when it's applied, it can go on rather thick, leaving your armpits feeling sticky. I've also had some of the deos basically fall apart, while I should have had a bit more use out of them. They can be kind of messy too. Furthermore, some deos, I've noticed more of the opposite. They don't apply smoothly, they don't glide across, and it can feel almost like you're applying a glue stick. Aside from some texture issues, when applied right, the Squatch deos work great as a natural deo. You do feel like you sweat less with it, and the scents are great, and powerful enough so if you do sweat, they'll mask any odor there is. Also, I've not really had any issues with staining clothing. Very rarely. Like I said, I've used Squatch deo for years, and while it can be inconsistent, it's mostly a great product. As for Sudsy, I've seen many of the same benefits, without many of the drawbacks. The texture is much more consistent throughout their deos, and applies evenly with an ideal amount. No hair pulling, no globs of deo smeared around, just a nice, smooth glide that dries quickly and keeps you nifty for most of the day. Because of this, too, the sticks seem to have a longer shelf life, as they aren't falling apart. The scents are great as well, although maybe not the variety of Squatches quite yet. They also aren't as potent either. They're still strong enough to notice while near though. You may like the more subtle scent of Sudsy, or the more powerful of Squatch. I suppose that's more personal preference. While I haven't used Sudsy nearly as long as Squatch, I have noticed more consistency and feel a lot better using them. Before we get to my closing thoughts, I just wanted to talk about the available flavors of each. Dr. Squatch has a large lineup of amazing flavors that feature some of the best scents out there. There's something for just about everyone. Currently, my favorites are the Birchwood Breeze, which is a nice woodsy vanilla scent, the Woodbarrel Bourbon, which is a fall oaky bourbon scent, and the Freedom Fresh, which is a breezy cologne type of scent. There's also Squatch classics like the Pine Tar, Fresh Falls, Bay Rum, and Cool Fresh Aloe, as well as the Summer Citrus, Alpine Sage, and the Stick of the Dead, the Halloween Boy. Some of these I like more than others, but again it's mostly personal preference, although I will note that not all of these feel the same in my experience, and not all are identical to their brick counterparts. Sudsy Bear, on the other hand, being the more recent release, doesn't yet have the large menu available like Squatch does, but there's some nifty ones here. My personal favorite is the Old Saint Nick with a nice peppermint tobacco scent. It actually surpassed the Birchwood Breeze as my favorite deo. The scent is great and it feels great. I also really like the Hunt Camp, again because it reminds me a lot of the Birchwood Breeze, but I think it feels a bit better without sacrificing a whole lot scent-wise. This is another woodsy vanilla type of scent. There's also the Old Forest Pine Tar, the sudsy version of the pine tar, as well as Icy Eucalyptus and Old Glory, the two most recent releases. In the end, I do have to give the victory to Sudsy Bear. As someone who used Squatch deos for years, and was a big fan for the most part, the Sudsy deos really managed to impress me, without some of the drawbacks I began to notice with Squatch. Overall, both are great products in my opinion. If you're all about the scent, Squatch may be the better choice as of now for you. But if you want more consistency, as well as longevity, I think Sudsy Bear is the clear choice. That's just my opinion though, and now I'd like to hear yours in the comments. Which stick do you think is superior? Have you tried both of these deos? If not, are you looking to try them? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, thanks for watching. Frick Nation, stay nifty.
Yeah, man!